All right, so I wanted to go over some of the frequently asked questions we've been getting in our comments and emails about the Edison kit. To start with, the number one question we get is, what is the price of the kit? Right now, we say it's about 50% of the cost of a new diesel or a new electric truck. It's a little bit vague for a couple different reasons. I know it's vague, I know that's annoying, but number one, I don't like what some companies do where they say, oh, this is gonna cost $30,000, and then the truck actually hits a market and it's $60,000. You're like, okay, you promised everybody 30. We're saying it's roughly 50% because there's certain factors we can't control. Inflation has been insane and all over the place over the last 2 years. It's going to be about a year and a half before these are offered to the public, so we don't know what that pricing structure is going to look like. If we hit more 10, 20% inflation, it's going to go up. So by saying that it's half the cost of a new diesel or a new electric truck, we can roughly index that price, and you can look up the price of what a Ford diesel Laramie is and figure roughly half of that. There's other factors that go into the price, and it's based on how complex the truck is. So if we can do it simple, where you just have just a battery, just a two-wheel drive battery truck that can be done really cheap, or we can get really fancy and you got a service truck that wants to have a brand new Tier 4 emissions, full four-wheel drive, and you want the ability to run a generator and like a welder. There's so many different things in there that's also going to affect it. Like a new truck, you can go in and you can get a base model truck that's just a standard work truck, or you can go out and you can get a Longhorn Laramie fully loaded F550 service truck for $300,000. You can buy a base model simple diesel truck for $50,000, and our kit is going to flex in the same price range of how complex and how fancy do you really want to get. One of the other things that we have for price that is relatively, our price is going to be determined by how much we can grow, how many we can order. It's why we have the reservations, because the more we can have reservations that people are saying that, yes, I'm committed to the truck, the more we can go where we go and raise the money to buy the kits, the more volume we can take. And I have seen those quotes. We've asked for the quotes for 1 axle, 2 axles, and we've asked for a quote for 100 axles at the same time. And I am not kidding you, the price falls in half when you get up to volume of scale. So if we're able to actually order 500 axles at a time, and we have that many reservations, people willing to go, and we can order that volume, we can really, really cut the cost, but that's gonna depend on how many reservations we get. So what size axle did we go with? We went with an F550 sized axle. Now, a lot of people are saying that's bigger, but we really could choose 1 axle. If we're gonna order in bulk and we're gonna take advantage of that at the start, we gotta pick one and we gotta go with it. And you can put an F450 axle into an F250, but you can't put a 250 axle into a 450, 550. The reason is we went with that is that a large part of the market when we reach out on these retrofits are high mileage work vehicles. That's what we're targeting. Things like tow trucks, service trucks, welding trucks, things that need the bigger, heavier, beefier axles, the hot shot guys. That's what we want, and those axles can work in the lighter trucks, but we can't use a light truck in the thing, so we're not going to limit ourselves. We're going with a big axle. This leads to the next question. Will this axle work in my vehicle? Yes, you can put an F550 axle into an F250. You see people putting 1-ton axles into their Jeeps. My favorite way of describing this is if you've got solid axles, you can probably make it work. And there is kits for people with independent front suspension. So my basic answer is this kit will work for you if you have axles and you can make it work. If you can put a full-size truck axle onto your vehicle, this kit will work for you. That's the end of the story. Now it depends through the installer or yourself, depending on who wants to do the work, how custom you want to get. We were talking with a guy that wants to do up a 1952 Cadillac, and it's got a full, large rear axle. We measured the axle, it'll fit. It's beefy and it's overkill for a Cadillac, but you could do it. One of the questions we get is, what are the miles per gallon on this truck? I can't tell you that. It's not a secret, it's just that there is no way to really answer that because of how wide of a range of vehicles we can go to. The miles per gallon on an F550 service truck are going to be much different than the miles per gallon on that 1952 Cadillac. It depends what you do with it, how you use it. There's no good answer, but for vocational work in the city, we're showing about a 50% reduction in fuel mileage compared to just running the straight diesel mechanical. Can I run my truck on full electric? Yes. And what is the range like for that full electric? It depends what you're doing with it. But if you want to just say, take your truck, run to the store, pick up groceries, go back home, you're going to be able to do that on full electric. But if you want to pull on a 20,000 foot trailer and drive it across the country, you're going to need to fire up the generator and run the generator during the trip. Fully electric is not feasible for a lot of work trucks. The range on pure electric won't get you there, but you have the diesel to get you home. One of the questions we get a lot is, why not keep the stock rear ends and mount a motor in the frame rails and run that? And one of the issues is, number one, a reduction of power. Think about an impact gun. Every time you put an extension on that impact gun, you lose torque. Believe it or not, the same principle kind of applies to a pickup truck. That really is a 10-foot extension. You're going to lose a bit of torque. Number two, we want this kit to be for everything. So you may have a high mileage truck that where the body's good, but the drivetrain's wore out. The motor's wore out, the rear ends are worn out. So why does that guy want to keep his transmission and rear end? So now we wouldn't have a kit available for him. So we're going to just do axle swaps, and then if we have a talented installer that can just take electric motors, mount electric motors to a drive shaft, that's a conversation you could have with your installer if the installer is able to do that. But for now, we're just putting together a complete package to make sure everybody's covered. Can I keep my old motor? This is a question we get a lot, and we're putting together a full package for everyone. If somebody wants to just buy the parts, and we're going to do the same thing on the parts on the kit, a cost, you can look at that, you can pick axles, you can pick motors. If you have an installer that can use an existing motor and they can take the generator end, mount it up, and they can reprogram that motor, they are free to do that. Say you got a classic truck and you want to keep your 350 Chevy and you got an installer that's able to do those things, they're talented enough, I don't see any reason why you can't do that. But as our basic kit for the hybrid, it's a kit with everything, and then your installer can pick and choose from the kit if they so want to. Can I order this kit as a full EV? Yes. Yes, so we do have options, like I say, based on what you want to do. You can order it as just a two-wheel drive EV, a four-wheel drive EV. You can order it as a two-wheel drive hybrid or a four-wheel drive hybrid. There's 4 different options to choose from, and then through your installer, you can decide what to do from there. Will this kit work as a welding truck, tow truck, service truck? We got all that. Yes, that is one of the primary reasons we are doing this. We want to make sure that people that have service trucks, welding trucks, there's a lot of extra benefits. Like you can work on a job site totally quiet because the batteries in your truck can provide your main power. So that's one of the primary things, and what I see as being a large target market for these things, because they're buying $100,000, $150,000 F450s, F550s, and they're putting a ton of mileage out to where these trucks are worn out in 5 years. The body's good, but the drivetrain's worn out just due to how much work that hotshot or tow truck guy's putting on it. That is a prime candidate for this kit. What is the battery life in terms of years? People hear that EV batteries only last 5 years, 6 years, 8 years. Well, the thing is, batteries degrade over time. They do. Battery technology isn't there yet where a battery can last 20 years. But our advantage is a hybrid. What happens over time in a battery is that you lose the capacity. So say on a normal day, you can drive for 2 hours off electric and then 1 hour of driving with the generator on recharges the batteries. Say in 7 years, 8 years, I think it's actually 10 years estimated range, it'll be at 50% capacity. Means that you'll run the truck for an hour and charge for 30 minutes. So instead of 2 hours of driving with 1 hour of charging, you get 1 hour driving with 30 minutes of charging. It's essentially like you have a smaller battery in the charge. And we estimate that as a hybrid, you can go 10 to 15 years instead of the normal EV 5 to 10 years. It's just going to push that expected lifespan out. The other advantage is because it's a hybrid, we don't have to pack in as many batteries, so the cost to replace it is going to be a lot lower. I've heard stories of people having $60,000 battery swap. Really, the cost of replacing your batteries in 10, 15 years on here is going to be equivalent to replacing or rebuilding your motor you had that would probably on a high mileage vehicle need to be replaced in 10, 15 years. So it's comparable to that. Where are our batteries mined? A lot of people ask this question because they say, oh, well, where's your batteries mined? Where's all the stuff come from for your EV? And I would like to rest assured that we use nothing but the finest Congolese children to mine those batteries. Their nimble hands are fantastic for extracting minerals. Okay, no, I shouldn't say that. Okay, this is one of those questions that's almost and false. A lot of stuff gets mined in North America or in places that have great standards. We've worked with battery manufacturers to make sure that those batteries are ethically as sourced as possible. But this is not an argument, or should not be an argument, about EVs. The fact that some countries have poor mining standards should be an argument that we should bring more domestic mining back. It is a global environment. If somebody pollutes in Africa, they're still polluting the planet. We should bring more mining back to North America where we can control our environmental, our emissions, and our health and safety standards a lot more. And I really want to use North American equipment, North American mineral for my batteries. What is the point of going electric if I still have a diesel engine in it? And really, it's about torque, power, and fuel efficiency as well as emissions. But the main thing is electric is incredibly torquey, incredibly powerful. We've all watched the video of the Cybertruck beating a Porsche while towing a Porsche. Electric is perfect for a work truck. The issue is range with electric. You don't have the range. That's where the generator comes in. So you can take advantage of the electric. If you're going to the store, you can do the store full electric. You can get back, you can plug in, but you've got the range to still use your work truck as a work truck. Diesel electric has been in freight trains since the 1930s because it's efficient, it reduces fuel, and it applies more power. We're just taking that concept down to pickups and semi-trucks because I think it's the next logical step, Gap. Too many companies out there are trying to just hop right to the end. People are asking if they can install their own kit. And if somebody feels comfortable to work with the EV, work with the high voltage, and was willing to sell a disclaimer, I'm willing to do it, but I'm gonna treat that kit the same way that I could walk into a Cummins dealership and I can buy a rebuild kit for an X15. But if I install that rebuild kit and something goes wrong, Cummins isn't gonna warranty it. If you go through a certified installer for your kit, we'll make sure that if anything goes wrong, we'll take care of it. But if you try and do it yourself and you blow up an inverter or a battery, that's on you. But there's the option. I am all for right to repair. If somebody wants to do it themselves, I think they should. They should be well aware of the risks, but I'm not going to oppose it either. So what will the warranty be on the first kits? And to be honest, we haven't decided what the overall package warranty is going to be, but all the parts we're using off-the-shelf parts. We're not really making our own parts here. We're sourcing from other manufacturers. All those parts come with a warranty. The batteries come with a warranty. The axles come with a warranty. Inverters come with a warranty. At the start, we're going to use those manufacturers' warranties. Then we're going to test these things out in the field. We're going to stress test them a lot more, and then we'll figure out our warranty down the road. But you can rest assured, if you're one of the first people getting the kits, you're going to get amazing service because we are going to be invested in making sure that that thing is reliable, that thing is as hardworking as you can, that we can get the most life out of it and the easiest to repair. So the first people that getting a kit are essentially getting a full warranty. But the actual warranty will probably be figured out a few years down the line. When is the expected delivery date on the reservations? It's probably going to be around 2025. So this year we're going to build the first 2 kits and then we're going to start bringing in the installers and training the installers. We estimate 6 months, 10 months to build the first 1 or 2. Then we estimate another 4 or 5 months as we start getting the installers. Once we start training the installers, then we allow those areas. Then the people can start getting their kits installed. We'll start moving those kits out to the public. But it is going to be a 1.5 to 2 year rollout before the kits are available to the public. I've been contacting the installers slowly over the last week since after the New Year's, reaching out to them, and these are some of their most commonly asked questions. I haven't had a chance to reach everyone yet. I'm working my way through the list, but if I haven't got to you, these are the questions. Anybody else want to know about the installers or about the pickup kit that had these questions? Watch this video. We're going to go through all these questions here now. So to start with, how long is the installer kit staying open for? We're going to be closing it at the end of next Friday, January 12th. We've hit basically the number we want to hit. We're going to leave it open for just 1 more week towards the end of Friday next week. We're going to close it for those people that are kind of on the fence deciding that we've been talking to. And after that, we're going to focus on the installers we have and really sussing out those relationships with them. Okay, will we have installer training in the United States? We're going to look into that. So we're working with a couple people. We're actually going down to Texas next week. We're going to talk to some installers. And what I would love to do is, yes, I want to train as many as I can at the Edison shop, But for those that it's a long drive up to British Columbia, I would love to be able to train some absolutely amazing shops in the United States that can train other things. The same way we're doing with the Boss Garage out in Ontario. We're going to train them, and then other installers are going to be able to go to DeBoss and then learn from DeBoss. So we want to do the same thing with a couple installers in the US who might be open to that. and let's face it, not all mechanics are legally allowed to cross the border. Is there a training fee? No, the training fee is covered when you reserve to be an installer. The things that you're going to have to cover, though, are obviously your expenses, your travel here, expenses while you're here, but the actual training is covered with the installation. People are asking, is there a yearly fee to be installer? No, there is no annual or yearly fee. There is no ongoing fee to be a member of Edison Motors. Okay, so what is the cost of the training? That's going to be, you're going to have to buy your first kit. See, you buy the first kit, we're going to train you how to install that first kit. You can either sell it or use it as a demonstration model to hopefully help you sell other kits. But by that, you'll come to our shop or DeBoss or one of our other qualified trainers at the time. We're going to walk through that process together. There's no fee for the training. The training cost is already included when you sign up and you reserve to be an installer. That's covered. It's just your expenses to get to the training facility, your expenses at the hotels, room, board, meals, that sort of thing. But there's no direct cost. Okay, so what are the qualifications to be a shop? What size shop do you need? We're not picky. Obviously, we built our first truck in a tent. But you do need a space to be able to work on these things safely, out of the elements. You need a basic shop. You need your basic shop tools to work on EVs, and we're requiring that you enroll into the safety programs, your standard safety programs that you would have to, say with like WorkSafe or OSHA, you would have to be part of that. We're going to make sure people are part of like the ISO requirements and they're up to the standard. So basically programs that are going to make sure that your build quality is up to the standards that it has to be at. Okay, so what kind of tools do I need to have this shop? Well, you're going to need all the tools to do an axle and a motor swap, your standard shop tools, but you're also going to need the EV safety equipment, your gloves, whatever. And then you're going to have EV specific infrastructure, say like a level 1 charger. You got to be able to plug into the truck, make sure you can charge it. A level 1 charger is $2,000. They're not expensive tools, but we got to make sure that the people working on these things are safe, they're protected, and they have the right tools to do the job. One of the questions we get is, hey, I signed up to be an installer. Do I get an exclusive territory? The answer is no. Right now, no. There's different people. Everybody I've talked to wants to do something a little different. Some people want to do pickup trucks. Some people want to do semi-trucks. Some people are more interested in the engineering and the electrical and the design part of it. Some are interested in being trainers of other installers. So there's a wide range of people. So setting an exclusivity zone until we get things in the ball rolling, we're going to just say no. We want to see the competency. We want to make sure that the best shops are trained. And then some people are going to want to naturally grow. We may be able to have a conversation in the future about exclusive zones once we see performance. If somebody says, hey, I'm the only installer right now in this city. I want to really invest. I want to build a larger shop. I can build a 16-bay shop. I've got tons of orders. But if I'm going to put that $1 million investment on a nice bigger shop so I can really get going, I want to make sure I have the city. That's a conversation we can have in the future with a very competent installer. But for right now, we're going to leave it open. One of the questions we got is the location only for North America? Yes. For right now at the time, it is only North America. We don't want to grow too fast. We don't want to grow too big. I think just sticking with North America for right now, like Australia, New Zealand, the UK, Iceland, those people reaching out from there. Yes, I would love to get to that market in the future, but let's really concentrate on these installers, get all of these installers set up, get those pickup truck kits going out the door, and then let's look at going abroad in the future. I appreciate everybody's interest who's reached out abroad, but for now, we got to focus on our core market. Okay, so some people are asking, if I sign up, am I just doing pickup trucks or can I do semi-trucks too? And we have a lot of installers that want to do the semis. What they do is they work on semis all the time. They want to be able to put our retrofit into semis. So yes, we're going to start with the pickup trucks, but with those installers that want to do semis, there is the option to move to semis. We're actually going even above that. Some installers, they know what our technology is, they know the electric motors, the batteries, and they're asking questions of, can I put these in boats? Can I do, like, I got some people that I work with, and I could do the engineering, and I could put that electric motor in a boat, and I could put the batteries in there. If you want to do that engineering to electrify other things using our parts, you can absolutely do it. We'll sell you the parts. You can buy them from us. You can then sell them to your customers. You can do that engineering using the stuff. Those are the things you can do as an Edison installer. We're not going to limit you. How do the kit sales work from an installer's perspective? How are we setting the cost, or the installer setting the cost? What we're going to do is we're going to set a fixed cost for the kit. Every customer is going to pay the same price. I don't like the haggling. I don't like that fussing over price. It's going to be a fixed price. We're going to put a profit margin in there for us. We're going to put a profit margin for the installer. And where it's up to the installer to negotiate with a customer is going to be the install time. Some installs are going to be more complex and more difficult than other installs, depending on what level of what the customer really wants to take it to, how complex and how fancy they want to make it. That's a conversation between the installer and the customer, and the installer is free to charge and work on that because that would be impossible to regulate. We're going to regulate the kit price though, so that everyone's on the same page there. Some people are asking, what if an installer has a good idea and they want to bring that idea? We're offering a royalty, basically a royalty thing. I don't know the exact word for it, but say you have a great way and you've hacked into the programming and you can tie into an original truck's VCU, ECM for like a 2018 Dodge, and you're like, hey, I got the programming, I'm willing to, okay, Edison, then we reserve first rights, we'll take it, and then we can offer that to other installers, and you essentially get the royalty for that thing. You figured it out, you deserve that amount, you get that. Or you come up with a new way to mount a battery. Look at this. I was tinkering away and I found a great way to tuck the batteries into the frame rail. This is a super easy bracket to use, or it's something we can use in the installer. Perfect. We can offer that to other installers. They can go through, they can pick the parts. We'll put a part number on it and you'll get a royalty or a fee for every single one of those parts we sell. Because we do have some people that have signed up that I've talked to, installers who are incredibly, incredibly bright people. Absolutely brilliant. They're coming up with great ideas that they're telling me, and how do we integrate that? And I want to make sure that it's fair, because maybe we got a shop that they're not doing a ton of volume like the other shops, but they're coming out with really great ideas. I want to make sure that we can take those ideas and bring them to the other shop and that they still get compensated. So we thought that was the most fair way to do that. One of the questions we got from installers, is there a required inventory to hold at the start? No, we're not going to require that you hold or buy any inventory. You can make it on demand. And then we feel like people are naturally going to scale that as they grow. Like say you got a guy that's doing 5 trucks a week, he may want to keep a few on things so he's not waiting on any kind of parts. But you may have a guy that's doing 1 truck a month, 1 truck every 2-3 months, and he can order the kits on demand. So we're not going to require anything, but we think it's natural that people will do that as we grow. A lot of people asking, what happened to Topsy? They haven't seen Topsy on our page in a month or 2. We haven't really been going. Well, Topsy's still in Ontario going through testing. It's a little hard to film content when your content's 5,000 kilometers away, but there is good news. The testing, the last big thing to test, just got finished up today, really right before we were recording this video. So we booked a low bed. It's going to come at the end of January. They're going to finish tidying up a few little things on the truck, but the low bed is booked. It's going to be coming back to BC at the end of January. It'll be here February, but everything is going great, and we can't wait to start hauling some loads, filming some more things, so stay tuned for that. Okay, guys, we hope that answers your questions, and I hope that if it sounds good, you like the idea of how the pickup truck works, that you'll reserve one. It means a lot to us, and it really helps us achieve our goals here. And of course, if you got any other questions, ask them in the comment section. We'll get it into a frequently asked question on the website. And the website, in addition to reserving, remember, we always have merch up there. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys.